to another episode of the Hollywood Critics Association Longbox, where we connect the comic books to your favorite movies and television shows. My name is Tessa Smith. You guys can find me everywhere on social media at Mama's Geeky. It's right down here. There you go, at mamasgeeky.com. And I'm joined by my lovely co-host this morning.
Hi, it's me, Jonita Davis. I am in away from my office again because of the holidays. Y'all know how it is when family's here and everything. So, yeah.
Yeah, we know. Mm-hmm. And you can also check her out at mamasgeeky.com. She's got some great stuff up there too, as well. Cake, yeah. Mm-hmm. And yep, exactly. So listen, we are just basically, we warned you guys last week. This is now the Hawkeye show. This is going to be the Hawkeye show for the next 4 weeks after this week. That's just how it is. I'm a massive Hawkeye fan, and I've got a really sweet Christmas sweater with my boy Clint and my girl Kate.
I was going to ask about that.
Listen, I'm in a Hawkeye mood. I'm in it. Hawkeye is my favorite Avenger, so I am over the moon that he is finally getting his time. Plus, we have his time with Kate, and I've got so much to talk about from the comics that we can discuss. If you guys haven't read the Matt Fraction run yet, that's the one to check out. 100%. They take a lot from this, or from that into the show. And fair warning, there are going to be spoilers. So if you have yet to watch the first 2 episodes that are out now on Disney Plus, just come back later. We'll be here. This is going to live here. Yeah. So come back and watch it after, because we are going to dive into it, guys. And again, next week is going to be the same thing. And the week after, like I said, it's the Hawkeye show for the next few weeks. And we'll have other things sprinkled throughout, but it's basically going to be the Hawkeye show. Basically. Especially like Hawkeye's my boy. So I'm so excited that we're here.
Well, this is my opportunity to learn about Hawkeye. I didn't mean to cut you off, but this is I'm so excited to learn more about this character because I don't know much.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. So what question do you have for me? After watching the first 2, just throw them at me. Fire them at me. What are your thoughts?
I want to know, how accurate was that first episode? Did they meet when she was a kid like that? I mean, because that was so cool. I really like that.
I love that they tie that in. And it doesn't really happen that way. He's a mentor to her, but not like because of things like that. Just in general, she's like, I love archery. I want to be like him. Like, that's how she is. She's a total fangirl. She fangirls over him like crazy, which is, I love kind of in episode 2 when they actually meet as their older versions. And she's just like, you're Hawkeye. Oh my gosh. And she's just like talking to him. And she like gets his number. She's like, I'm going to let it ring through so I have your number. And she's like, I'll text you. And like, that's totally them. And I love that because the Clint Barton that's in the MCU is a different Clint Barton that is in that Matt Fraction run. He's different. Oh. So what they've done, like, he's not the same. I mean, that's kind of why they brought in the deaf thing, I think, him losing his hearing a little bit. They were sure, like, okay, how do we bring in this version of Clint? Okay. And they did that with Kate. And the way they've done this is so great because they have this bickering, bantering relationship through the comics, which I feel like really comes across on the screen. I just love the way he's like, no, I'm not. And she's like, like, she's just so like, she's how I would be if I met him, like, oh my gosh, will you sign my bow? Like, he's like, I just want to go to my family. What are you doing?
Yeah. She's not getting the fact that he really, really is annoyed with her and he's over her. She doesn't care. It reminds me of the Batman and the Flash, that whole relationship. And, she's just talking away. He's trying to get away.
It's so great. I love it. I love how he's just like, no. He's like, don't call me. I'll block you. She's like, I'm going to. Like, it's just so great.
She's like, and she's got this attitude of, I just know you're joking. And he's like, no, I'm serious. I'm not being just rude. This is not teasing. Right. That's their whole dynamic. If you haven't watched, that's the dynamic between 2 of them. I love that. I love that they're going there. I do.
It's so great. And it's so, because that's what you get in the comics is that bicker, banter, back and forth. He's very much her mentor, and he ends up really caring for her as like basically a child in the comics, which I think that's where this is going to end up going. I really do. But I like the way they're starting it off, and I thought it was good they had that tie, like you said, of them. He saved her when she was a kid, and so for her to see that, and that sparks this ambition in her and determination to this is what she wants to do. And she's really good at that. But I also like that they showed during the animated like intro, they show that she doesn't just, and they mention it too, but they show that she doesn't just learn archery, right? She does martial arts. She does all these other things, because actually I was doing my live watch party here on YouTube this morning, and someone said, well, how could she just hold her own against the Tracksuit Mafia? Like, how is she, like, she's doing a pretty good job of it, which she then later says, I did a pretty good job of it because archery isn't my only thing. She flat out explains it, you know? She's like, I have a black belt in martial arts. Like, yeah, they were a lot for me to take on, and I wasn't prepared, but I have skills, you know? Because people are like, she's untrained, but she's not really. She's untrained as an Avenger, sure, but she's trained, as a athlete, which I think is important.
Yeah, and it's important for people to know that not all the Avengers have powers. Some of them are just trained athletes.
I mean that's what Clint Barton is, right? Although during the press junket, Jeremy Renner said that his superpower is fatherhood, which I really loved. I really loved that. That was my question.
Yeah.
Made it even more fun.
Yeah. But after the question where you asked about the dog and he gave one word and
Kevin Feige's like half a sentence. What did I say? I said, what was the decision process bringing Lucky the pizza dog to the screen? I love Lucky the pizza dog. And he's just like, well, if you have Clint and Kate, you have to have Lucky.
That's it. And he stopped. Okay. And that was it. There was nothing else.
I was like, oh.
That was the end of Tessa's interaction.
I was very sad. So that's why Jeremy Renner made up for it with a nice long spiel about fatherhood, and which is true. And that's what I love about this is I feel like Clint hasn't gotten a lot of screen time. You know, he doesn't have his own movies. He doesn't have, and now he has his own show finally, but like he hasn't had those moments where you can really get to know him. So which is part of the reason I love him is all the stuff we know from the comics. He was one of my favorites in the comics. So I think if you don't have that appreciation for him, it takes a little bit to get there. And I think he's going to in this. I do. And I think he's getting, like, of course, this is Kate's show, right? It's the introduction of Kate Bishop. It is. But we're getting a lot of Clint Barton too. And we're getting a lot of him as a dad. We're getting a lot of him in he's dealing with the loss of Nat, of his best friend. And I love that during Rogers the Musical, which we are going to talk about in a second. I just love that when they leave, his daughter even says, like, you don't have to sit here and watch this. We all miss her, but she was your best friend, you know? And for him to see her and then the little girl dressed as Black Widow, you know, that like hit him in the gut a little. And I like that we're seeing that side of him because he still misses her, you know?
Yeah.
Of course. It was his best friend. He was going to die for her. And she
was. Pushed him back because he has a family. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things I love about this is that we're getting background, you know, what I call background from Endgame and all the Avengers big fights. So you've got the Avengers doing their thing and it's like taking up the universe, but it's not. There's still life going on around them. And so I like that we're introduced with Kate. You know, what's going on the periphery of the fight.
Exactly. Yes.
And how that touches her life and she becomes part of it. So I like that. I really love stories that kind of branch out like that. And you know, it shows what else is going on and what other stories are going on. And I feel like this is, you know, while other stuff is going on over here, you know, maybe Wanda's doing her thing and Loki's up in, you know, freaking time. We've got Clint and Kate down here holding it down on the planet. I love that. And I love that they pick up after they don't do this. And 50 odd years later, you know, or in another universe, or, you know, like they try to do with comics and try to trick us into thinking, okay, no. They're actually respectful. And they, you know, like we have a brain and we know continuity, and they're, you know, with by making it right after Endgame. So someone had said
it was 2 years later, which is, I need to, like, I learned that partway through, I guess it was during the press, not during the press junket, but during the press day, right? Like someone had asked, another outlet had asked during their one-on-ones. And so then watching it again this morning after knowing that, I was like, I not sure how this is 2 years later. So I'm interested if that was like if it was misspoken, if there's going to be something that ties in a little later, because like 2 years seems like that's quite a while to have. I mean, I guess it depends on when Loki's thing happened, when Kang happened, because like, how is the multiverse not cracked yet? If this is 2 years later, it just doesn't. But I'm sure we'll learn. We'll find out. We'll get there. But I don't know.
Yeah.
It seemed off to me, a little off.
It does.
2 years feels.
It feels like a lot. Yeah.
Like
it doesn't
6 months or 2 months. Maybe it was 2 months. I don't know. 2 years feels.
It has to be
not
2 months.
Right.
And there was still like in the background, you could see still remnants of what happened a little bit. So I think 2 years is a lot.
It feels like a lot. I didn't see the interview. I just had people tweet it to me, like tagging the tweets where it said 2 years, and I'm like, I need to go back and I need to find this interview and see, because that feels like a lot to have no like repercussions from what was going on with Wanda. It has to sync up with like WandaVision and Loki. There's no way it doesn't. So I'm intrigued.
Yeah, and can I say that this is only happening over the course of 6 days? So we're not going to get to 2 years after. That was my favorite part of the press conference was when he started talking about the time. And I actually put this in my write-up that I'm working on is the time span. We have Clint against the holiday clock.
Yes.
6 days. Each episode is a day.
Right. That's what I love.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's like it's a 24 thing. Yeah. So
it's perfect.
That tension's already there. It's already there. Mm-hmm. And in the first episode, we see, I'm jumping ahead. I am jumping ahead. I'm so sorry. But
no, you're fine.
He has to get home for Christmas.
Yeah.
You know. Kate don't want to go home. So, so you got that, but he's also got to get her safe and figure out what's going on and get home in 6 days. So you've got that immense tension already in. I love it.
He's like, I missed that. I promised my kids I would be home, And it's interesting because like he missed them doing the gingerbread house and they've talked about all the different things they're going to do. So I'm wondering if these will pop up, right? Like decorating the tree is going to pop up.
I think so.
The stuff that he said he was looking forward to, the movie marathon, right? He's going to miss all those. And of course, in the final episode, he'll come home for Christmas and maybe Kate will be with him
before the end. Yeah,
exactly. But I don't care. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Lucky the pizza dog. Like, looks so much like the comics and eats pizza. That's amazing. Also, don't feed your dog pizza only. That's don't listen to Kate.
Do that.
This is bad.
Actually, some dogs can't eat pizza at all, so stop.
I know. Literally, that's what she made him for dinner and breakfast. We now know the 2 meals we know Lucky had is pizza. It's not healthy.
Yeah,
it's
don't
not
do
good
that.
for your dog. Don't do that. Well, adorable, just not good. Not good for your dogs. But I was excited to see that. And then that all ties in because in the comics, Lucky ties in with the Tracksuit Mafia has beaten this dog, which we see them kind of like fighting the dog. So
okay, hold on. Tracksuit Mafia, y'all. They're a bunch of dudes. They're a bunch of dudes in red tracksuits.
They're bros.
They're bros.
They say bro.
Yeah.
At the end of every sentence.
They're not dudes. They're bros. They're bros in tracksuits, and they are real, legit mafia mob people. Is that from the comics? Is that from the comics?
Oh yeah,
Please tell me.
Oh, they're so just like the comics. Absolutely idiots. Don't know what they're doing. Like just ground level morons is what they are basically, right? Like
okay, that's comic accurate.
Love it. It's very comic accurate, and they're so funny. And I love Clint. The one thing too is like, oh my gosh, that when he says I'm gonna pull a catch and release, right? He's like, I'm just gonna let them capture me, and then they're all like, that was easy. You're like, come on. But I love how he was talking to his wife, Linda Cardellini there, and she goes, oh, one of Nat's moves. I was like, oh, like if it's a blink and you'll miss it, don't, if you're not paying attention or you don't have the captions on, but she says, oh, she goes, one of Nat's moves. And I just love that they're weaving Natasha into this story because she's so connected to him. So I really appreciated that. But yeah, they're pretty accurate. That's how Lucky the Pizza Dog gets introduced is because with the Tracksuit Mafia. So I don't want to like completely ruin the run, but at the same time, like, just read it. Read the Matt Fraction run. I think it's like $1 billion on Amazon right now, though, because it's so popular.
Yeah.
And
So
I went to what was that?
I said, so go to Comixology and get the digital version. Yeah.
I went to my local comic shop because I have them in single issues, but golly, when you're trying to reread something, I just prefer trade paperback. It's so much easier than trying to go through and pull out everything. So I went to my local comic shop called The Comic Shop. I love that name. I think it's perfect. And they were out of them. They've ordered a bunch more, so they're going to let me know when they have them. But because I've read them a few times. It's just been a little bit, and I'm like, okay, I want to dive back into it. Now that we're in this world right now, I'm ready to dive back into it. And I know they've pulled a lot of stuff from it, but of course there's a lot of different stuff too. But we're not getting, like, Kate Bishop, Haley Steinfeld, perfectly embodies her. She's amazing. But we also have a couple other new MCU characters they have history in the comics. So I'm interested to see, like Jack, her mom's fiance there, is the swordsman.
I knew he was somebody. Because he has this greasy, smarmy bad guy feel about it. He's a bad guy, right? Villain? Okay. Yep.
Yeah. And he's called the swordsman.
And
Makes
Kate
sense.
knows.
That's why he's obsessed with swords, and he's like a fencing, he's a sword guy.
Oh my gosh. I love that. There's a scene where she's like, okay, I'm going to show my mom that you're this bad guy. You're not just my evil stepdad.
Right.
You are truly a bad guy. Yeah. And so for a second there, I was even thinking, okay, come on, girl, leave this dude alone. He's just a regular dude. And then you see him and you see the little winks and nods and all this. I'm like, oh, he's bad guy still. Yes. Okay. Yeah. She was right. I'm back on her side. He's bad guy.
And then he pulls out that butterscotch. So obviously, I haven't seen past the first 2 episodes, but I've got to. He's got to have killed him, right?
Yes.
Or they just try to make us think it. I feel like he did. I like when she goes, "Don't you think it's funny that you had a fight with him and then he was murdered by sword? Who gets murdered by sword? Yes. Like, there's not many people who get murdered by sword. So,
and that's kind of your thing.
Fair point. Exactly.
And the candy though, that freaked her out. That scared her.
Yeah.
That would scare me too, because I'm like, okay, you hit it so well, and that one nod, no, you're definitely evil, and I don't need any of you. Does her mom turn out to be somebody evil?
Her mom is someone as well. She's a little dark. I don't know a ton about her, and I'm definitely going to dive into it. But she's the potential to. I think she's not. I think she's like, if I remember correctly, and gosh, it has been a while. She is like a gray area, but then gets dark. And I don't think she redeems herself, but she's on my list to dive into. It's just, listen, guys, it's award season. You should see our for-your consideration piles of.
Good Lord.
I don't know. I wish I had time to pull out comics that I don't, but I do plan to look back into her because I remember. I know she goes dark. I'm just trying to remember if she's, sometimes they redeem themselves and become good, but I don't think she does, but I need to look more into it.
I had a feeling about her, and it was a bad feeling, and I'm like, I don't want to be like this, and I don't want to be mean.
Yeah.
But I feel like, because there's a whole part in the first episode where she does some weird stuff.
Well, she's arguing with Armand. I mean, listen, she could be the one who killed him.
I know.
And maybe she brought back the butterscotches.
And then lies. Yeah, and lies to her daughter about what she's doing. And lady, I don't know what you do for a job. So,
right. Security.
Always the people with the weird jobs. Yeah, they have a security company, but what do you do though?
It's very easy to be honest for something. Yeah.
Yes. And in the comics universe, all the rich people are either good guys or bad guy villains. So, anyways,
right? They're not just normal people ever. If you're rich, you got something going on with you.
Time on your hands, I guess.
Right? Yes, exactly. You're getting paid $2.7 million for a skull in a black market. Like, that was silly business. But anyway,
that was going to be my next conversation. What was with the black market auction?
I know. And then her mom tried to pretend she didn't know about it. That was weird. What was
that? Was a lie.
You know about it, or you would have been like, where's my fiance? and his uncle. Like, it was at your event. At the gala that you were at, you knew it was going on.
She knew. They were gone long enough to buy stuff and argue and do all this other
Right.
stuff. They were probably a good half an hour from your event. You had to know.
Yeah.
You had to know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She knew for sure.
She knew.
So,
and how can you have a whole black market auction with all these evil dudes and all this evil stuff in your building, in the same building you're having your event at, and not know it? And
exactly.
Okay. No.
She knows. No. She definitely knows.
She knows.
Which makes me wonder, like, okay, like she could be the murderer too. I don't know.
I didn't think about that. I did not think about that.
It could be. Because I feel like they're trying to make it too obvious that it's Jack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But again, I don't know. It's Marvel. Sometimes they do the obvious thing. Like the whole time we're going, it can't be really Kang in Loki because they're making us think it's Kang, and then it was Kang. So the whole time with WandaVision, it's Mephisto, but it wasn't Mephisto. So who knows?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They like to throw hints at you for stuff that is not there. So
this is something else. Something else we'll find out in the last 5 minutes of episode 6.
Right. Well, that's the thing. This is so many new characters that are coming to the MCU. Of course, Kate is going to be part of Young Avengers. Obviously, we pretty much know that. I mean, they even asked her about it at the press junket, and Joe's there too. And she like looks at Kevin Feige like, "What can I say?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I can say." Right. We all know, Haley. We all know Kate's going to be part of the Young Avengers. Come on, they're setting up for this.
It's inevitable. She can't avoid it. It's going to happen. Just say
exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
So are we going to get Natasha's sister in this?
Yes.
Again?
So she's been confirmed to be in it, which was a little annoying because we had heard that they had confirmed it. Marvel had confirmed it before we got Black Widow. So the end credit scene wasn't as like exciting and shocking as it could have been because you're like, I know she's going to be in it. My thought is Clint's got this time against the clock. He's got stuff he's got to figure out so he can get home for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be at some point one episode, possibly the next episode, where she comes in, like maybe she somehow gets them away from where they are because she wants to take them out, right? So like Echo, who we just saw for 5 seconds at the end of the episode, has them. They're going to get out somehow, obviously. I think Yelena's going to come in. They're going to have like back and forth, maybe fight a little, whatever. Eventually they'll talk and yay, great, awesome. Call me when you need me. Bye. Maybe the end of one episode, the beginning of another, if they want to put her in 2 episodes, but I don't think she's going to be like, she's not the main focus here, right? The main focus is Clint and Kate. But yes, she's going to appear, but I think they'll have a little fight. They'll talk. They'll figure it out. They'll be friends. The end. That's my guess, anyway.
Yeah,
I can't imagine she's in more than 2 episodes. Because we only have 4 left.
Yeah, there's only 4 left, and Florence Pugh has the ability to steal scenes. Yes. We saw that, so they don't want her in any more than
exactly.
Yeah.
She's going to come in to have her appearance. Like I said, if it's 2 episodes, it's probably going to be the end of one, beginning of the next type of thing. Like we just saw Echo at the very, very end of episode 2. She turns around and she's there, and that's it. That's all we saw of her. So I think it'll be similar with Yelena, where you see her at the very end of one, maybe half of the next one, and there you go. That's her appearance. So they can kind of put her in 2 episodes versus 1 episode. But I don't think they'll spend a lot of time on her because exactly like you said, this is supposed to be Kate and Clint's show, and they don't want to overshadow them. And that's why Echo is getting her own show. So this is the way to introduce her, give you a little bit of her, who she is, and then she's going to have her own show. So she's not going to be a main part of this either. It's mainly Kate, Clint, trying to figure stuff out, and he needs to get home. That's what it is,
Awesome. Okay, so my next question is about Echo. I know we see just a few minutes. Isn't Echo a good guy? I mean, a good girl? A good person?
She's like a gray area, she sometimes isn't the best. And then she has a dark, I have a whole article of her at mamasgeeky.com if you want to check it out, but she is one of those people who goes back and forth. And it's one of those things where it depends on what comic books you read, how they change people all the time. They're like, this person, let's make this interesting. Let's make her bad. She gets brainwashed kind of by Kingpin. So I think that's where it's going to be a big, that's going to be a big thing. Her and Daredevil have a history, so it's kind of complicated, but she's mostly good. But then like Kingpin doesn't like brainwash her, but like convinces her that Matt Murdock, that this person was trying to kill her and yada, yada. And so she goes to try to kill them. And, you know, kind of that sort of, they throw that gray area storyline in at her just because that's what they always do. Usually in comics, they try to make people interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes that gets on my nerves.
I know.
Like, yeah. I
So
can't figure people out.
Yes. She's kind of, I think that her tie, so there's rumors that Vincent D'Onofrio is going to be in this, right? There's rumors that Kingpin is going to be in this. And I think he might, and I think we'll see him very briefly kind of talking with Echo. He's going to be there behind her, kind of, you know, in her ear, so to speak, about certain things. And I don't think she'll be, and I think that's where her own series is going to come into play. I think she's going to end up being really good in her own series. But right now she's in that gray area. She thinks she's doing what's right, but she's not, type of thing.
You think Echo's getting her own?
Echo is getting her own series. They announced
it. Oh, we know that.
Yes, we do.
Oh my gosh, I missed the announcement. Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Yep. She's got her own series coming. So, so that'll be, it'll be, I want to say it's probably going to be in 2023, I would imagine. I don't know if they said. Let me look and see if they said exactly when. It was more like, it was during that Disney Plus day where they're just like, here's a bunch of titles.
Yeah. That got kind of confusing.
Yeah. I know. So I'm trying to see, but I think it's just, I don't know that they say, they just showed like the, you know, title thing. It doesn't really say. Although release date, yeah, there's really no, they don't know. It's just now, like it's coming out as soon is the word they use. Although then someone says rumors are late 2022 or early 2023, which feels accurate, feels about right.
Okay.
And it is a deaf actress, which I am happy about because she's a deaf character. So as we could tell, she was feeling the music, you know, when she had her hand in front of the speaker. Yeah, every article just basically says we don't know when, but they've announced it. So she is going to have her own. Yep.
Okay. Cool. I can deal with that.
Yes, I'm excited about it. I think the main thing is like, I imagine Kingpin will end up being a bigger part of her, if Kingpin continues, of her own series, but we'll see him a little here. She's his pawn, basically. He messes with her. And
Okay.
I think that's why she is where she is now. Because I think she'll end up being good.
Okay.
But who knows?
All right. So who else do we have that was hidden that I didn't see? Because this is the thing. Tessa can see all these people who are potentially going to be like new heroes or current heroes. And I'm just like, oh, okay. I thought that was just the waiter. Okay.
I think we're about it. So we've got the mom and Eleanor Bishop, which is Kate's mom. Then we've got Jack, who's also the swordsman, aka the swordsman. And then Lucky the Pizza Dog is very important. He's gonna hopefully, maybe we'll get a Pet Avengers. Oh my gosh. If we got a Pet Avengers, I would be so happy. There's a Pet Avengers comic series. Can you imagine? They should just do shorts, animated shorts. Listen, I'm off topic now, but how amazing would that be? With all oh my gosh, that would be so fun.
Put them like after the after credits of all the Marvel movies coming up and series. See, so another idea, Disney. I hope you were listening because we're just throwing out gems. And
then Echo and Tracksuit Mafia. So not really. There hasn't been anyone else. I mean, they spent a lot of time on Kate and establishing her, but I think they did such a good job of establishing her.
They needed to. They needed all the time to spend on her. I don't think it was too much. I did see someone just griping on Twitter about, I thought this is a Hawkeye.
There's tons of Hawkeye, especially in that second episode. There's tons of Hawkeye.
Tons, right?
The thing is, yes, it takes probably, what do you think? It's the first 15 minutes or so, probably, till we see Hawkeye. But you have to set up Kate. And actually, technically, we see Hawkeye in that opening scene, actually, saving Kate. So, but you have to set her up or people aren't going to care about her.
Right.
People who don't know about her, like you didn't know about her. You don't know. You haven't read her stuff. So you felt like you really got to know her, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I felt like she was like, okay, this is one of the better ways, talking to you, Suicide Squad, that you flesh out a character when you're going to introduce them. You've
And you
got
don't
to
spend
spend
that
some
much time
time.
on them.
Yeah, you got to spend time on them as an individual and their
Yep.
background, and how they connect, because that moment was a pivotal moment for her. We know
Yeah.
this. We don't. I mean, there's a lot of characters in both the MCU and DCU that are like, okay, they're here. I don't know why.
Yeah, right.
They're
I
just
don't know anything
here.
about them. I don't
Yeah,
know what
don't know what
drives
they're
them. I don't
doing.
know. Yeah, exactly.
They're here though.
Uh,
Yeah. So I'm glad that she's fleshed out. So
yeah, and I think Haley is just phenomenal.
perfect.
She's so good in this. She's so good. And I love, like, I imagine that her and Jeremy have a very similar relationship as Kate and Clint. And maybe that's not true, but
It feels that way.
it feels that way because they're so good. Their
Mm-hmm.
back and forth is so good that I'm like, I feel like on set, she was like, I'm going to get your phone number. And he was like, no. And she's like, I'm going to call you and text you. And he's like, please don't. Like, it feels so natural and it feels so right, the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
The sign by Bo, that made me so, she's like, you're like my favorite Avenger. Will you sign this? And he's like, no, like, I have questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. And question. Last. Okay, so I know I've got all these questions. The Ronin suit.
Yeah.
Um, does she, like, in the comics, like, is that like her thing, or does the suit go away?
Yeah, she's very in the comics. I don't know that she ever put it on, and nothing that I read. In the comics, she's got that purple, like she does a lot of like the sweatpants and she's got that same. And then the one thing when she fell through at the very end, fell through the ceiling there, and she had on that tight purple. That's her, right? Is that sort of outfit, the archery outfits. I don't think she's ever put on the Ronin outfit. I think that was just a little nod to Ronin and to help say, obviously this is why he has these enemies, is because of the Ronin suit, which is pretty comic accurate. Like when he's Ronin, he gets a lot of enemies. I mean, he does the same thing he did in Endgame there. He tracks down and kills like crime syndicates. Like he does, it's messed up. He goes down a dark path. For a while there. So I'm glad we at least got a little glimpse of Ronin. I would have liked a lot more, but maybe perhaps that's a series for another time. But
do you think that's going to drag in more of these tracksuit mafia like villains?
I hope that we get a lot of just street. I mean, it feels like this is very much going to be street level, hand to hand fighting, like nothing elaborate. Just you're fighting the crime syndicates, right? Like the Yakuza maybe could come in, but I don't think so. I think it's going to be very much Tracksuit Mafia. I mean, Kingpin, I think, is going to show up at some point. I don't think he'll do any fighting himself because, of course, he never does.
He never does. He has all these people to do it for him, but all of his people are so colorful as well.
Yes.
So that's good, knowing that he's coming in. I just want to see more. I just would like to see them having this main mission, and then it always this side thing that's an annoyance to him, just a pain. Yeah. It's like, okay, wait a minute, I got to deal with these guys. Give me a second, type of thing.
Right. Yep.
From his Ronin days, I really like that if that happens.
I know, me too. I hope so. I think the main focus here is bringing Kate in, Kate and Clint's relationship, but I don't think, like, so many people, and I didn't even know this was a thing until I started talking about Hawkeye, but there's apparently a whole bunch of people that want Clint to die in this and Kate to take up the mantle. Yeah, and I'm like, you guys are wrong. He's not going to die. I love him.
They want him to die?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of people. People don't like him, and I don't know why. People just haven't spent enough time with him, and that's why we need this series.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm excited to have
Kate.
Yeah. I know. I'm excited to have Kate coming into this, though. But I hope that this isn't the end of Clint either. Whether he's semi-retired and pops up every once in a while, which he has a family, I can see that happening. That's a good way to write him out, but have him still pop up every now and then. I mean, Kate is a Hawkeye fangirl, as we see. She is a Clint fangirl. She loves him. And if getting to know him, she's not going to, it won't be realistic, I guess, if we see her in Young Avengers in like 3 years and she's not calling Clint. to ask for stuff, because that's what happens in the West Coast Avengers storyline. She's running the West Coast Avengers basically, but he's kind of running them too. He goes out there, he heads them up. She's like always calling him, keeping him up to date on stuff. And he's like, I don't care, Kate. Like you're gonna, you know? So I can't imagine that their relationship would end. I think it would be fun to have him pop up every once in a while, her calling him for advice or just texting him and bothering him, you know?
Yes.
Because it just wouldn't be very Kate for her to just be like, okay, bye.
Yeah. And just to grow up and be this mature woman like her mother.
Yeah, that's not going to happen ever for her.
Do any of Clint's kids become...
I don't think so. Lila, I can see, it basically ends up being Kate is his, you know, person he mentors. And I could see Lila picking up a bow and arrow at some point. I don't think either of the boys will. But I think that's more that Kate is going to fill those shoes for him. You know, he basically.
Okay, that's why I asked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't like when they do this tension of my mentor versus my kid. I'm like,
yeah, right.
Can we not do that? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's definitely Kate. He kind of becomes a parent to Kate in a way, right? Like he calls her a kid. He's like, what are you? Or what did he say? She goes, I got a something or other when I was 5. And he's like, so last year?
Yes.
He sees her as a child, you know, which I like though. I like.
That is cute. Yeah, I love it. And I don't want that to go away. And I don't want, you know, anything with the kids to be thrown at her because that's unfair. You know, we got 6 days. So, you know, let's not do that competition between the mentee and the kids. I mean, let's not do that. That right. Seems like a low blow to me.
Yeah, I don't think they'll go that route. I certainly hope not.
Okay. So what do you think the main evil mission problem thing that's going to destroy the world is for this series?
I mean, I think this series really is all about that ground level. Like, it's just crime in New York. Like, that's what it's going to be. It's like, crap, I upset all these gangs and stuff when I was Ronin, and now I'm just going to have to deal with them all, and it's going to be annoying. Like, I truly think it's just street level crime.
Yeah.
As a whole. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kingpin a little bit, probably, because Echo is Kingpin's pawn, which makes me think Kingpin has to be in this, or at least make an appearance, because the rest doesn't make any sense. They have to at least mention him, because Echo wouldn't be in that position if it wasn't for Kingpin. He's the one who gets in her ear and makes her a pawn, you know? So I'm sure he's going to pop up, but I'm sure it's going to be a quick cameo, because again, this is Kate and Clint's story. It's more about them bonding, Kate coming into her own, Kate kind of becoming an Avenger in a way, and just a lot of fun banter and bickering, and a dog that eats pizza.
The dog that eats pizza. Yeah. So like the Defenders, but fun.
Right. Yes, but fun. Exactly.
Yeah.
I like that.
I love that. I love that. Okay. Great. I'm in. I'm sold. And yeah, I'm in.
It's so much fun. It's so much fun. And I mean, again, I'm super biased to Hawkeye anyway, but so far this is my favorite. And I hope they don't ruin it in 4 episodes. I don't think they will. I think it's going to be a lot of interesting stuff. So
yeah, I don't think they will. They said, Feige said that, you know, yes, we do have the Die Hard type of, you know, stuff. So it's not going to be like soft, cheesy Christmas. And no, and none of that. So we got the action, the adventure. That's going to be enough. You got the banter. And I think that whatever else they throw in, I don't think they could mess it up at this point.
The only thing is they haven't stuck the landings with the finales for me, except for Loki. So
yeah,
I'm interested to see. But in all fairness, WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier were messed up because of COVID. They had to reshoot a lot of stuff. So that could have been the issues with those.
Yeah, there's continuity. Yeah.
Because like Kat Denning there, Darcy was supposed to be in it, and she couldn't because of COVID and all that stuff. She couldn't come in and do so. That's why they were like, oh, she pieced out and left, which made sense. But you know, that was the thing with the finale for WandaVision. So I think, and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, they had to completely rewrite the Flag Smashers. So those were more victims of that. Still love those shows, don't get me wrong, but I think we're pretty good on Hawkeye. They hadn't had to deal with, there weren't any rewrites or anything that had to deal with, or they had to do because of the pandemic. So fingers crossed.
This one's
all,
untapped and good.
Yes, and it's how it was originally intended. So hopefully that we get it.
Okay.
And, yeah. So that's it.
Yeah.
That was fun conversation.
It was. I got some more fun to add to this. So the comics that came out today, there's brand new, #1, go get it. Hawkeye Kate Bishop, #1, out today. Her own comic. You have to go get that one. Like, there's a lot of them out today, but that was the one that I'm not even going to muddle your brain with anything else.
That's the important one.
Yeah, that's the one. Go get it. Just don't even ask questions. Okay.
Yeah. Right. Just go get it.
Just go get it. You will not be disappointed,
Kate is amazing.
Get 2 copies, a reader copy and a copy to put away. Yeah.
Yes, 2, exactly. Right. Make sure you get 2. This is, I mean, I feel like most people should know that, but maybe it's just us and we're crazy. When you get a #1, you have to get 2. And if they have a variant copy, get the variant copy.
Yes. And a variant copy is when they have the cover, the main cover, and then they have another cover that looks cool. It's not there just to look cool. Get it anyway. It's the same comic book. Yes. But you will not be disappointed in a couple months when these things are selling for like $300. And
Like, remember all the it was the Obama Spider-Man ones. That was a long time ago. Remember they had like 4 different ones, and we got them all. You had to get them all. You have to. Don't be crazy. Don't be crazy.
You have to. Right. Yeah. So yeah, just go get the Kate Bishop Hawkeye.
Yes, I'm excited to read it. I know it's in my pull box, so I need to go get it. So
go pick it up before somebody pulls it from you.
Nobody. I would be very upset at my comic shop if they did that to me. I spent too much money there. They would be. It's in my pull box. It's good. It's in there. I'm gonna double check as soon as I hang up off of this call. Now I'm worked up about it, but I know it's in there. I'm like, they open at 11, so it better be in there. All right. Anyways. Thank you guys for joining us. This was super fun. Again, this is basically now the Hawkeye show for the next 4 weeks. So get ready. And next week, I'm excited to dive into a new episode because we only got the first 2 of screeners. So it'll be brand new for both of us. We're going to watch it Wednesday morning, and then we'll come and talk with you guys. I, over on my channel, do live watch parties. So at 9 a.m. Eastern time, I will be at the Mama's Geeky channel watching Hawkeye live. And then I'm going to come over here at 11 a.m. Eastern time and chit chat all about it and talk spoilers. So, if you have the time to join both, go ahead. If not, that's fine too. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell because the channel will notify you when we are live. And then you can always come back and watch these later. If you don't, have the time, I know it's hard. People work, people have lives. If you can't watch it before the show, you can always come back and watch our breakdown and our discussion later.
Yeah, plenty of spoilers. And we're working on possibly maybe talking to some people from the show.
I know. Hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
I'm
not gonna announce because of the Barbara Gordon thing that never happened. Yeah.
Well, we might need to talk to her for the next season though. So
yes, for the next season. But I don't want to mention ahead of time just in case now.
Yes, exactly.
I'm superstitious. Not superstitious, but just being cautious.
Knock on wood.
Okay.
Knocking on wood. Knocking on all the wood.
All the wood, yes.
All right, guys. But thanks for joining us. This was fun.
Yeah, we're not the only show on here.
Good
yes.
call.
Gotta plug our what to stream Thursdays. Trending in Hollywood Fridays. So what's coming up tomorrow is Hollywood Approved, then what to stream, then Trending in Hollywood. Okay. So I have to remind myself to get those in order.
And I'm imagining they have something. They almost always have something, even if it's pre-recorded. I know tomorrow's Thanksgiving, so I'm not positive they'll be having a show. But I bet they pre-recorded something. Those girls are pretty savvy.
Yeah, they are. So just check in with them, and check in with Trending in Hollywood and all those other and what to stream. They may not have an episode, but hit the notifications. Because if
then you'll know.
You will know. So yeah.
Perfect.
That's it. That's
awesome. Well, this was fun. Go out and get yourself that Kate Bishop #1, and we'll see you guys next week for more Hawkeye. I'm so excited.
Yes, it'll be fun.
Yes.